How Starbucks Saved My Life by Michael Gates Gill. When Michael Gates Gill was in his 50s, he had everything he had ever dreamed of: a mansion in the suburbs of New York City, a loving family, and a top job as creative director at the world's largest advertising agency in the world, J. Walter Thompson. Gill had grown up in a high class family as well, therefore never experiencing what it is like to be in desperate need for money. However, around the time when Gill reached 60 years old, his life took a turn for the worst. First of all, Gill was laid off by the company from which he had dedicated 30 years of his life. Next, he was caught in an affair that ended his 20-year marriage. Then, to make matters even worse, he was diagnosed with a slow-growing brain tumor causing him to lose hearing in one of his ears. And around the same time, his girlfriend gave birth to a son. This series of unfortunate events left Gill with no money, no health insurance, and no prospects. One day in early March of 2006, Gill, distracted by his own bubble of misfortune, strolled into the local Starbucks without noticing the sign on the door that read "Open House." As Gill sat with his last affordable luxury, a Starbucks latte, a 28-year-old African-American manager named Crystal Thompson approached him, only half joking, to offer him a job. To her surprise, Gill said yes. Little did he know that this simple one answer would change his life. He went from being served to serving, from being the boss to having one. For the first time, Gill was actually a minority, the only older white man working with a team of young African Americans. The autobiography, How Starbucks Saved My Life, emphasizes the simple idea that humbling labor can help to reorient a person's values and priorities. Through his job at Starbucks, Gill learned many life lessons, including the importance of respect and how to form healthy relationships with both friends and family. He also learned that any barrier, whether it be race, gender, or age, can be overcome as long as you put yourself in the right mindset. At the very start of the book, Gill establishes the main idea of the book in stating, "This is the true, surprising story of an old white man who was kicked out of the top American establishment, by chance met a young African American woman from a completely different background, and came to learn what is important in life." As you read further into the story, Gill's change in values is limpid. As he writes, "I was reminded again how I liked that unique Starbucks style, not ordering someone around, but asking in a courteous way. When I was a big boss at J. Walter Thompson, I would come around late on a Friday and order people, 'You have to work this weekend.'" The tone of this book is both reflective and gracious. Its purpose is to reveal that a person's values have a great impact on character. True happiness does not come from valuing money or fortune or status, but rather from the valuing the relationships you build throughout your life. Gill includes metaphor, rhetorical question, and juxtaposition to enhance his argument and better connect with his readers. The application of metaphor is used as Gill explains his feelings towards his new job working at Starbucks when he writes, "I was just another swimmer, now riding a wave I'd never known existed. Starbucks was giving me an incredible ride on a rising tide." One of the many rhetorical questions found in this novel is, have you ever wanted, when life is too hard to bear, to return to the comfort of your childhood home? Gill employs juxtaposition as he compares Crystal's life to his own. He was born into privilege on the affluent Upper East Side of Manhattan, she into poverty in the projects of Brooklyn. He once had a high-powered advertising job and now had nothing. She came from the streets and had now succeeded, so much that she was able to offer a stranger a chance to save himself. My favorite scenes from the book are enhanced through the application of imagery. In describing the busy Starbucks scene, Gill elaborates, "Inside was all heat, noise, and a kind of barely organized chaos. There was a line of customers almost reaching the door. Mothers with babies in arms, business people checking cell phones, school kids lugging backpacks, college kids carrying computers, all impatient to be served lattes." Another one of my favorite quotes includes Gill's description of the changing seasons as he walks to work. Like in the movie The Wizard of Oz, the black and white winter had gone and the spring colors had arrived. There were now masses of bright red and white tulips everywhere, almost garnish in their profusion. According to Dr. Wayne, author of Inspiration, Your Ultimate Calling, this book is a great lesson in finding your highest self in the unlikeliest of places, proof positive that there is no way to happiness, rather happiness is the way. On the contrary, an anonymous critic who is not so impressed with this book wrote, "I grew quickly weary of this self-indulgent and self-congratulatory piece. The author's thinly veiled condescension was matched only by the dullness of his style." Now, though I am not a fan of coffee, I am a fan of this book. The realistic tone and point of view of this book allows readers to connect on a more personal level. Michael Gates Gill does an excellent job at constructing an autobiography that is both entertaining and enlightening.